You are listening to episode 167 of Mitolife Radio. I'm Matt Blackburn, and today I'm interviewing Ava Mannino on metabolic eating and nutrition in general. On my show, I share a lot of really advanced technology and ideas and complexity, and all of the advanced stuff, the technology, the supplements, knowing how and why to use different things. That's all fun and very effective. But I think taking a step back to the foundational part, a lot of people just don't know what to eat. We're so confused, and there's diet culture, and there's countless influencers promoting their agenda and their health message, which is usually out of balance. It's either keto or carnivore or vegan or alkaline diet or whatever it is. It's a very restrictive program. So I like having people on the show like Ava that share a more open approach that really reduces stress, because people forget when you start to restrict gluten or dairy or oxalates or lectins or whatever the new enemy is, sugar, salt, fat, everyone's restricting something, and there aren't enough people talking about restoring balance. And with balance, that means that you're not restricting any macronutrient. You're not low carb, you're not high fat, or you're not high carb and low fat. It's a balance, and it's experimentation, and most importantly, keeping it fun and low stress. And in this interview, that's what Ava talks about. So she shares her journey, which is kind of similar to mine. We both didn't have a debilitating health condition that got us interested in health. We just started studying. She talks about the bloating issues that she used to have, her history with nut butters, and what she did to get back into balance. So this was a really fun, laid-back interview. If you're overwhelmed and just don't know where to start, this is a really good one to start with because it's foundational. We're talking about macronutrients and calories and minerals and all of the basic stuff that you want to get down before you start getting into advanced protocols and supplements. So enjoy the show. Here is Ava Mannino. All right, we are here with Ava Mannino. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Matt. I'm really excited to be here today.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. You've been posting a lot of really cool stuff on Instagram, and just really informative, practical tips for people. And I see you're a fellow fan of the adrenal cocktail. Have you been on that for a while?
So it's been about 3 months of on and off drinking it. Sometimes the adrenal cocktail, sometimes just orange juice. But yeah, I've been posting a lot of those infographics about prometabolic eating and all of that for 6 months almost. And I kind of transitioned my niche into focusing on healing your metabolism and what that entails, which is really your overall health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what was your background with dieting and trying different practices and protocols, and were there health issues that you were dealing with?
Yeah, so I was always really health conscious as a young girl, and definitely had some sort of disordered eating, like sadly a lot of women do growing up. And I was eating super healthy just as early as high school, and then I really just transitioned it into a way to just have a reinforced relationship with food and really change that from unhealthy to healthy by baking and cooking. So I kind of just took it into a different direction. And in college, at the end of my freshman year, that's really when I started to get really into the cooking and baking aspect of it, because it was like my therapy. with food, like taking it from being the enemy to being my love. And so right now that's where I'm at. I used to just cook and bake healthier things in the kitchen and post them. And that's really how avocado aficionado started, like 6 years ago. And I transitioned it into a place where I'm educating people on things that they should really know about that they don't, just basic facts about common brands, foods and drinks. And that's really how I transitioned my blog from being a space of healthier cooking and baking options to that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I demoed at Costco for several years, and it was always interesting to see what people put in their carts and just to listen to the conversations of people walking by. And I think it's really cool that you got into baking, because people just have this blanket idea of like, oh, if you eat cookies, you're going to get fat, or if you eat, cake, you're going to get fat. But if it's homemade, it could actually support your health, right? It has the right ingredients.
Yeah. Oh,
it doesn't have to be keto.
No, it doesn't have to be keto. I never deprive myself. I eat my cookies like almost every day. I bake my healthier cookies. I don't deprive myself of sugar and carbs.
Did you ever get into
fun.
that?
It's just really fun for me.
Mm-hmm.
No, I was always aware of it. Like, paleo, vegan, keto. I always like use those to my advantage on my Instagram, but I never committed to any of them. But they were fun taglines to attract people to come to your page.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's cool. Well, let's see. So you didn't have like a crazy chronic health issue. That was kind of like me. You were just kind of just stumbled upon it and you just started researching and experimenting.
Yeah, I really didn't have any like crazy issues, although I did have some bloating issues like during 2020. That's like really when it started, and I was like so frustrated and confused, like why am I bloating so bad when I'm eating healthy and I'm exercising? And really I think it's because I was just so stressed and I was over exercising, lifting really heavy. Like I was just coming out of a phase of where I was lifting heavier weights and my body just couldn't handle that. I ended up getting into a way of like sort of not an aggressive fast. Like I would fast lightly, like I would stop eating earlier in the day. And I think and then, starting to eat again by like 9 a.m. or 10. So not a crazy fast, but I think that really helped me like soothe my stomach and, the gelatin and the bone broth. I think just taking all that kind of just soothed my stomach, and eventually my bloating stopped from that. And L-glutamine I was taking, I don't take that anymore, but really just that combination of things helped my bloating issues, which was a relief. And then when I really got into prometabolic eating or whatever, like fruits and fruit juices and not depriving myself of those things and salts, I really just saw a transformation in my body. And also not exercising so intensely. Like I'm still exercising, but just exercising the right amount with the right amount of weights. I feel so much better and I look better than I ever did.
Yeah, I can relate. I was doing a 1 hour eating window for 6 months and I was deadlifting with the hex bar, and it was like, I don't know, it was a lot of weight. And I looked like I was starting to look like Arnold. I was super jacked, but I was like bloated and like I wasn't fully digesting my food. It felt like it was just a rock sitting in my stomach. And it's interesting that people are looking for like the best probiotic or the best glutamine or the magic bullet to cure their bloating. But like you said, it's just could be over exercising, could be not eating fruits, not eating enough salt, so many things, right?
Yeah, it was trial and error. Like when you're desperate and you really want to like fix an issue with your health, like you will try so many things. But luckily I never really fell for those gimmicks of like the greens and the greens powders and anything absurd like that. So I'm lucky I had that knowledge of and intelligence not to.
What did you grow up eating? Was it like standard American, like Cheez-Its, Wheat Thins, that sort of stuff?
Actually, my mom was always rather health conscious, so I'm lucky. Like she never wanted me to have soda. We never had soda in the house. I ate like I did eat like the typical snacks, but I don't recall like ever eating like things having all those like Doritos, Cheetos in the house, Pop Tarts. Like those were not allowed in the house. I think she always was rather more health conscious, and I remember like when I was packing my own lunches when I was older and old enough, like in middle school, like I would eat like carrots and cucumbers and seaweed. So I was a young girl who was eating very health conscious at that young age. So I think that definitely helped having that advisement.
You never got into like nut butters, like almond butter,
Oh,
peanut
the nut
butter?
butters. Yeah, we fell for the PUFAs. We really did. But that was one of the things that wasn't looked at as a typical bad food for you. So I definitely fell for that in college. You just reminded me. I used to like down the almond butter for dinner as a freshman and sophomore. So I don't even know how I didn't gain like 100 pounds, but I was eating so much almond butter. Luckily, that stopped as well when I got into this realm or modality. I completely stopped with the nut butters, and I think that helped so much my digestion. I was eating sunflower seed butter every day. I thought I was so much better because I wasn't eating peanuts. And then, little did I know, it's one of the worst.
I got hit with both. I grew up eating I think it was peanut butter and honey sandwiches. And then when I got into health, I was going through
Mm,
like 1 or 2 jars of like almond butter a week. Like, were you on that
oh
level when
man.
you were eating, when you say you were downing almond butter, was it like a
Uh,
jar at a time? Cause I was almost to that point.
I wasn't. I think maybe like in 2 weeks I would finish a jar because I hated the food in college so bad. I just hated it. So I would not even. I would get like lunch. I would make oatmeal in the morning, buy lunch at the school, and then I'd eat almond butter for dinner. I don't know why I thought that was okay, but I did, and I I think that eventually it caught up to me when I was having like chronic bloating, looking like pregnant at the end of the day for no good reason.
Yeah. No, I can relate. Had my finger on the pulse of like the raw food community, raw vegan or whatever. That's how I got started like more than a decade ago. And
Hmm.
there's this educator in the field that keeps getting like hospital bedridden, and he was slamming the nut butters, and I'm wondering if I suspect there's a connection between eating a lot of nut butters, which are totally unnatural, so concentrated, and getting like irritable bowel
Hmm.
syndrome, Crohn's disease,
Yes,
all these diseases that people are getting of the intestinal tract. It's like, how much
there's
are the nut
definitely a connection, 100%.
butters?
Yeah, there has to be. I mean, everybody, because all these nut butters weren't around like 10 years ago. It was just peanut butter, and now there's a butter for every nut and every seed.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if people like, there's nothing like it's not evil, but you, if it's something that is really unbalancing like that, in my opinion, then you should just like have it as like a side, right? Or just a little bit on bread once a day is probably not going to kill you. But
Hmm.
the way that people are over consuming these things are probably not good.
No, yeah, and I used to have like either a dollop in a smoothie or on my oatmeal or on a banana, and then it adds up. And it seems like it's such a convenient way to get in your nutrients, but really it's not really serving us if you're eating it so much. It's just gonna inflame your body. I
Hmm.
found that that's what happened with me. And I don't think like if I'm gonna like make a dessert or something with peanut butter in it or tahini, like I'm gonna do that. I'm not gonna beat myself up over it and I'll eat it, but I'm not gonna just eat nut butter in a smoothie every day. That's over with and done. But I will eat it once in a while. I'm not like I don't have that kind of disordered eating anymore. Like I feel comfortable indulging in anything really if I need to.
Yeah, that's a really balanced approach. Uh,
Hmm.
Back when I lived in Southern California, I was like a raw chef. It was a 100% raw vegan place where we did smoothies, juices, and I was in the kitchen making up
Wow.
stuff. And in the vegan community, these cashew cheesecakes are really popular. I don't know if you've
Oh
seen
yeah.
those. It's like an
Yeah,
insane
yeah,
amount of
yeah. Like the
cashews.
raw ones.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm familiar with those. I haven't actually made a of cashew cheesecake, but I've made my own cashew milk before, cashew butter, but they're heavy. They are heavy in dessert form. Oof.
Yeah, yeah, and I would make these little
Yes.
like almond butter filled chocolates. I forget what they're called, but it's just like crack.
Yep.
Like before you know it, you've eaten like 20, and you're like, okay, I
Yeah.
probably overdid the almond butter.
Yeah, yeah. It is a good combo. Like that's why Reese's is so popular. I mean, the chocolate peanut butter is pretty epic. It is for a reason.
Right. That's funny. Yeah, I guess if it's not a main part of your diet, just like a side. So you never got into sodas at all, like carbonated drinks or
I did. When I was
Mm.
young, I loved soda, but I wasn't allowed to have it a lot because which is, I'm happy my mom was like that with me. Like, she was rather strict because she knew how bad they were. Like, even if she didn't know the specific ingredients in it, like, she knew it wasn't good for me. But I did love it at one point. I loved Pepsi and Coca-Cola and Cheetos. I mean, I was a kid, so that was normal, but I definitely learned that that wasn't the right direction to go into. And I think just for overall health, like your hair, your
Mm.
skin, your nails, just eating that kind of crap was just gonna
Mm.
do you a disservice. And I'm lucky that I grew up with really good skin. But when you already have that against you, like eating like that is just worse. So I think that for younger girls, like if you just eat that kind of crap, you're already setting your hormones up for hell.
Yeah, then you add birth control and cosmetics and the
Yep.
crappy water, and it just adds up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I consumed so much soda growing up. It was I don't know if you have this by you, but we have this place called Giant Pizza King. I don't know if it's a chain. I think it is, but it was like
No, no.
slices of pizza the size of your head, and I'd go there with my friends like multiple times a week, and
Oh my
have
God.
that and a Pepsi. But I was probably getting a huge dose of aluminum from the Pepsi, and
Yeah. Oh
the
my God.
chemicals.
Never thought of it like that with the cans, but yeah, no, we didn't have that around us. But we had like all the pizza chains, like Pizza Hut, Domino's, and I never really loved them. I liked Pizza Hut as a young kid, but I really like good pizza from like a local pizza shop, not the chains. I think because I'm Italian, like a very rather authentic Italian family. Like we didn't like eat lots of Pizza Hut or Domino's, but we were raised eating the better quality pizzas from better places around us. But I don't even like love pizza that much. Like I like it, but I don't go crazy for pizza.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
a place when I lived in Idlewild. They put steak on pizza, and at first I thought it was weird, but I was addicted to it.
Whoa,
It was like chunks of steak on top of the pizza. It was really good.
that sounds good. That sounds good. I would eat that. Wow.
Did you guys ever make like homemade, like wood
Mm.
fired pizza, or have you ever tried that?
No, we didn't make it, but I have done that before. At my boyfriend's house, they have a wood-fired pizza oven, so it's pretty cool. But I just love like I prefer pasta and chicken cutlets more than pizza.
What about the
That's more
gluten?
my style. I don't care. I don't care about the gluten. Like I eat sourdough strictly pretty much. But if we're eating again, like if we're eating pizza like the right way, like I'm gonna indulge. Like I'm lucky that I don't have these intense allergies like some people that I can still enjoy these things. But for the most part, I'm not gonna eat that every day or even every week.
Yeah, yeah. A lot
Yeah.
of people are really anti pasta, and I think it is for like that reason you said, the allergies. Are people surprised, like when you work with clients or talk with people about their health, and you say you eat pasta? Like, are people often shocked? And they're like, "What about the glyphosate?" or "What about the gluten?" Or
I mean, I try to do organic or like a rice based one or something. Like I like to mix it up, but really, I don't think people have to be as restrictive as they think, especially if you're taking like the right supplements or whatever, like yours or like what is it, shilajit or beef liver, vitamin E. If you're taking the right things too, like you're already putting your body in the right state to digest these foods. But I don't know. Nobody really like attacks me about eating wheat or any of those like pastas that are wheat based. But I do like the other ones that are quinoa based. What I don't know what brand it is. Jovial. There's a lot of good brands out there, and I like to mix it up. But I think my relationship with food has really changed, where I'm not scared of any food anymore. Like I'm scared of candy and stuff like that's like not even real food. But when it comes to like chocolate and bread, like I can eat a bagel and I'm not going to be like depressed or hate myself for eating a bagel. Like at one point in my life, I used to think I can't enjoy this because I don't deserve it. Because especially if I don't work out today, like I don't deserve to eat this. So I used to be in that mindset, and now I don't feel that way anymore. Like I'll eat a bagel with cream cheese, even if it's not gum free, because I don't know what they're putting in it. But I prefer one that's gum free, like Nancy's, which is my favorite. But I have a pretty practical approach now to eating, and that's what I really want to share with my audience, is that you can live a normal life. It doesn't have to be restrictive and overwhelming.
I love that. That's awesome. Yeah, I think
Mhm.
there's whole podcast episodes just on wheat and gluten, and I haven't found one that's not wheat, that's non-wheat, like the rice ones or whatever that taste good. So I just go for the regular wheat ones. Like I found Costco has a pretty good one. Like that's the best tasting I found. Costco sells like I think it's like a pack of 8. It takes me kind of like a year to get through it, but it's like pretty good
Wow.
organic spaghetti. Um, but
That's great though.
yeah,
It's organic too.
yeah,
I actually went to
yeah.
Costco today for fruit and stuff.
I haven't been in
Yeah.
months. I kind of miss it. It's such an interesting store and interesting people walking around.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's always busy. I go like once in a while. It's just nice to get your produce there, especially with inflation and the expenses. Like just going to Whole Foods is like it hurts. But
do you
it's my
ever
favorite store. It's my favorite.
do you ever walk around and like observe what people are putting in their cart and kind of study that or
Yes. Yes, I'm nosy like that. I will. I will just observe someone's cart and I'm just like, what are you buying these bad cereals for? And ugh, the snack aisle, like they have an aisle where they have like the chocolate covered almonds, and those were good. I've had them before. But they're just putting all this stuff in their cart to feed a family. They've got this milk that has like vitamin D in it and these eggs that aren't pasture raised. But I feel for them because I know like you have to if you have to feed a big family, you can't afford some of these people to eat a certain way. But I see that people go there for the convenience and affordability because you can buy in bulk if you have like a family of five plus there. But luckily that's not me right now. So
yeah, when I was driving for like Uber and Lyft and just working multiple jobs, minimum wage kind of thing, I was just buying for myself, but I was buying the highest quality I could
mhm.
find from like a co-op, and at least half of my paycheck
Yep.
was going to my food. It's like this is wild.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When you like your high quality stuff, you don't like to compromise. And I get it. It's hard to. Like, you want your nice orange juice, your nice milks and cheeses and meats, and it adds up. But it's just that's my choice. That's how I like to spend it.
Mm. I noticed
Priorities.
you had a post on egg whites. I know Costco sells those. Uh, I've never seen one in person, like someone consuming it, but it's kind of gross. It's like cartons of just the egg
Ugh,
whites, right?
it is. I know, and I wonder what do they do with all those egg yolks that they just extract it. I'm not sure. Maybe they're making a lot of tiramisu or something, but it's a shame. It's just like they totally just like fooled the health industry, like healthy, like people who are aspiring to be healthy, and they just sell this. What is it, like a 4 pack or something of egg whites there? And I don't understand. They're good, but like why not just have the whole egg? You get so much more benefit out of it. People are so
It,
deceived by the whole cholesterol thing. It's so mind blowing.
yeah, yeah, that's what I noticed being out and about, and I try to just not. I restrain myself quite a bit in public conversation with people because I don't like being overbearing and trying to lecture people out. I don't think most people enjoy that anyway, but they'll make a comment,
Yeah.
yeah, I try to keep my sugar low, or I don't need any
Ugh.
salt, or I don't need any cholesterol, and I just have to like keep my mouth shut and like, okay.
Stifle. Yeah, stifle yourself because sometimes it's just not worth the conversation. Oh, I know. It's
Mm.
frustrating. Like I saw this person at Target. Look, they were observing what vegetable oil to get with like a mom and son, and I was like, "No, what are you doing?" I didn't say anything. I'm like in my mind, I'm like, "Oh my God, you're making such a bad mistake. Go away. Maybe I should push you out of the way and throw you to the coconut oil."
That's the one for some reason that everyone's confused about, I think, in the mainstream, or if someone's trying to get healthy, is what oils to cook with. And I've seen that over the
Hmm.
years where, I say every once in a while, yeah, I only cook with coconut oil or ghee. And they're like, well, wait,
Hmm.
I've been using olive oil, or what about avocado oil or
Yeah,
whatever. I guess canola would be one of the worst. But have you run into that
yeah.
conversation quite a bit? Like people confused about what to cook with?
Yeah, it's that's a big one, especially if you cook a lot and like there's families that probably like to cook a lot and they have just a big container of soybean or canola oil in the house. It's like you are really messing yourself up. Like that's step one if you want to cook, like get your oils established and definitely avoid vegetable oils. Even I'm just using olive oil for lightly sauteing or salads really right now if I eat salads. Right, coconut oil and ghee are my favorite at the moment, and
Hmm.
and butter especially for baking or certain cooking preparations. But yeah, I definitely feel better eating all of those too. Just consuming them in even higher amounts. Like I'm thriving.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's definitely an upgrade from the oils that a lot of us were consuming growing up. Because I know I was just loaded on canola oil being um, right there in San Diego. Is just what everywhere used to cook
Oh,
with.
it feels like every restaurant probably does that, and we'll never really know. Even high end ones. How do we know what they're cooking with? Like, are they cooking with olive oil? Not sure. We have to follow
Yeah,
up with the chefs.
right. Yeah, that's why I think it's smart to supplement. People look at it as like orthorexia sometimes. They're like, and that's fine, if you just want to go out and enjoy it and you don't have your supplements or whatever, let loose and eat whatever and take the hit. But I think if you're on vacation or you want to feel really good, it's better to not take the hit and like take your Shilajit and vitamin E or enzymes or whatever, all of them, and feel better, right?
Yeah, definitely. And the thing is, not many people know about those supplements. That's the biggest problem. There's such a big push for the wrong vitamins, and that's the biggest problem right now. Is that getting over that, just really becoming informed of it. But like the majority of people think that vitamin D and zinc are the best for you right now in protecting your body, but oh, it's not true.
Did your parents ever give you supplements, or did you get into supplements on your own at some point?
At one point when I was younger, I was taking a spirulina, believe it or not, and I didn't really find that it benefited me in any way. Um, I took a vitamin D at one point. I remember my doctor said you should be taking vitamin D, so I took it for like a year, and it like did absolutely nothing beneficial. Probably did the disservice to me inside, but I got off of that like a year and a half ago, and I've been fine. But really, just discovering these supplements through a bunch of influencers, including you, the beef liver and the shilajit, I really just kind of I just really changed my perspective on vitamins and what you need. And I feel right now that taking the magnesium bicarbonate, which is super annoying, but I'm committed, and the shilajit and the beef liver, those are my favorite right now. I actually just upped my dosage to 3 shilajit, and I feel a difference for sure. And my mom feels a difference. My mom does not feel as anxious, like physically, not just mentally. Like she feels a difference. So that's amazing.
That's really cool. Yeah, it's funny. Some people will say, I
Yeah.
feel nothing from Shilajit, and then other people will be like, is this like Adderall? This feels like when I used to take Adderall.
Yeah, it definitely helps with focus and just clarity. And I just felt good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
No brain
Yeah,
fog.
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I think I found it like 9 years ago or something. And it took me up until last year to learn. I found a study that 90% of Shilajit is calcium, potassium, and magnesium. Because I thought it was like almost 100% just trace elements. But most people are deficient in those. They're deficient in like all the electrolytes, right? So that could be a
Mm-hmm.
big benefit they're getting from it. They're just like, their body's like, oh, finally potassium, finally magnesium.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like it's another one of those supplements that's like naturally just giving you so much more benefit the way beef liver does, just like a bunch of vitamins and minerals, just giving you that overload in a good way.
Mm-hmm. With beef liver, did you ever get into the real thing, like eating it raw or making smoothies?
Uh, so I found frozen beef liver at Whole Foods, and I tried to make my boyfriend and I beef liver meatballs, and he actually didn't notice. He knew there was a difference in the taste, but I didn't tell him until after he ate them that I added liver. But I was, me on the other hand, I was gagging and grossing out because it smelled so bad, like the irony smell of the liver. So I just got nauseous to eat more, but I did eat them, and I need to work on a recipe for that. I haven't touched any liver since then, but I take the supplement every day. I really need to get more into cooking organ meats because I really want to for the benefits, and I don't need to buy the supplements anymore. So it's a transition.
Yeah.
It's hard. Like I'm really interested in it though.
Yeah, I wasn't raised on it, so I feel that. And I think I bought some organic, quote unquote, beef liver from grocery outlet, and I think it was refrigerated. It wasn't frozen. And that seems to be the big
Mm-hmm.
key for getting rid of the gaminess of beef liver, is like having it frozen and thawing it out and immediately
Yeah.
eating it versus, it's already been thawed
Yeah.
out for weeks. I think that's where it tastes really, really weird. And
I'm open to trying it again. It was nasty. It is a nasty thing, but it's a powerhouse of nutrients, so it's worth it. Like I'm open to that sacrifice.
I think the two
Definitely.
easiest
Yeah.
ways. Have you seen like what I used to do is, or just cube them up, and I'll do it sometimes, cube it up just raw, and then separate the pack into like Ziploc bags or Pyrex
Uh-huh.
containers or whatever, and then freeze the 2/3 and then eat the 1/3 right there. And you just swallow them whole like pills.
Oh.
And that's a pretty easy way, if you want
Oh.
to get the real thing, because you don't taste it at all. You just, it's like eating oysters or whatever. You just shoot
Well,
them.
oh. I would try that. Yeah, I think that sounds like a nice idea. Just like that's truly the right kind of pill.
And I know a lot of people,
Wow.
like my friend Paris told me about beef liver smoothies, like just get like frozen cherries. And I guess the frozen fruit can hide the flavor too, if you find the right fruit that jives with the
Oh.
flavor of and just make just put some liver in
Like
your smoothie.
oh, yeah, I actually thought about that. I mean, if you just put in a frozen piece, you probably won't even taste it. Banana, definitely banana for the sweetness. I don't know, that does sound gross. Cherry sounds a little more doable than banana, but banana's usually a good base for smoothies for
Hmm.
me.
Um, and you wanted to talk about green powders. You'd mentioned that before. Did you ever get into those, like taking the green powders?
Luckily, I didn't, but I wanted to talk about like why everyone's so obsessed with them and actually thinks that that's a good way to gain your health back. Like, why do people actually think that it works and it's such a processed powder? I just
Yeah,
find it mind blowing how people are being so deceived.
what was the there's a multi-level marketing company that sells green powders. They market heavily to the Hispanic community. They were down in California when I
Oh,
was there. What was it called? Not
huh,
Amway. It was on that
I
level.
don't.
Not Purium, but
Oh,
but yeah,
I
they're
don't know. I've
popular.
heard of athletic greens.
Oh, right.
Yeah, everyone thinks that they're more affordable. It's just an easier way to just get your greens in, but you're lacking so many key nutrients there, and it's just so processed, and tastes so gross. I've tried it. Luckily, never got on the trend after that, but I find that, and it's digestive distress. You're just asking for it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of marketing. They're like, "Oh, it's liquid sunshine and you're getting all of your vitamins and minerals," but they never ask like what was the quality of soil that grew these vegetables, right? Oh, it's called Herbalife or Juice Plus. Have you heard of those?
Oh, really? No, I haven't.
Those are
Oh my
huge.
god. Yeah, well, they market on those tactics to get people going with this emotionally. Like, oh, it's an easy way. It'll help me get my greens in for the day. I won't have to cook vegetables or eat the greens. And the ingredient lists are like a paragraph long of vegetables too. It's just overwhelming for the body too. So I really sometimes I'm mind blown how people are could be so like single minded about these things.
And usually I notice they slip in like D3, vitamin D or even ascorbic acid or vitamin A. They'll just throw like the
Hmm.
whole kitchen sink in these things.
Oh my god. Yeah, I haven't actually seen ingredient lists that add those, but I'm sure they do. Oh man. So they're really just deceiving consumers and they're making lots of profit on it.
Last time I was at Costco, I saw the one of their juices. I forget if it was orange juice. They added zinc and vitamin D. Have you seen that? Like in the fruit juices or the vegetable juice that they
Um,
sell.
I think I have seen them. They have a green juice there. I think they might have a V8 or something there. They all add a few funky ingredients, natural flavors. Even some, and then some of the newer ones now are not fruit juices, but just a lot of other alternatives have monk fruit in them and stevia, which I
I used
really dislike both of those.
I used to hit those hard. I think that was part of my digestive distress.
Definitely, yeah. They're just worse than regular sugar.
hmm Yeah, there's if you search stevia anti-fertility, there's some really interesting research on how it's basically birth control, the stevia leaf.
Oh my god. No kidding. That's insane. I've never heard of that before. Oh,
Yeah, I think
and
it
people
lowers
think
test.
it's just a smarter way.
Right, it's healthier
Testosterone.
than.
What were you gonna say?
I'm pretty sure it lowers testosterone, and I mean, it, all the women now. It seems like they all have cysts on their ovaries, and endometriosis. And I'm like,
Yeah,
why are these things so prevalent and low testosterone in men? I'm like, it's probably a lot of these products that are just being shoved onto us.
yeah, definitely. There's clearly an epidemic of fertility issues for women right now. It's actually like mind blowing. Like 28-year-old girls struggling to get pregnant, and it's unbelievable. I don't know why. Like, I mean, there's just so much that goes into it, though. Environment, birth control, all like food that they eat. And it's really upsetting to see that happening, especially to people that you may even know.
Did you ever almost get on birth control, like the IUD or the pills or anything?
Luckily, no. Luckily, no. My mom was against them, so I'm lucky that I had her guidance again. Yeah,
Yeah, your mom sounds on it. That's
they're really bad.
yeah.
And also my aunt works in the medical field, so she's aware of these things as well, like coming from that perspective, like they just knew better, like these things aren't good for you, and if it's not a necessity, like you don't need it. It's like when I was 14, everyone was getting on it because it was the thing to do. It made you feel cooler. I don't know. It's so sad to see that it's like a cultural thing. It makes you, I don't know, more womanly, which is so ironic because it's the opposite. But I definitely think that it's just prescribed so easily too to these girls.
Yeah. Yeah. Recently, I looked up one of the popular IUDs. It was called a Paragard, and it was actually made of polyurethane, like plastic, and barium. It's like the weirdest
Nice,
combo.
nice, barium. That sounds familiar. And also there's a new thing called Phexxi, another form of birth control that is like a gel for women. It's supposed to be non-hormonal, but obviously there's still risks.
Hmm.
I don't know if
Yeah,
you've heard of it, Phexxi. It's a new thing.
I haven't. What's it called?
PHEXXY, Phexxi.
Okay.
It's a very, very new. It just got approved by the FDA like maybe a year ago or less. And it's a gel that could probably risk of like certain things down there.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like we're so behind on the times with birth control. I mean, there's condoms, but pull out method. There's the cycle, just fertility awareness method. Those are
Yeah.
like three
Yeah.
three options, but there are probably some that are just suppressed that are just not available to the public because they're too healthy for us.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. They're hiding the good stuff, right? Yeah.
um, and one thing you'd mentioned to me before, kind of switching gears, was nausea that you've experienced from traveling. So you've been experimenting with
Mm-hmm.
mitigation strategies for that.
Yeah. I get such bad dizziness and nausea when I'm on a plane, and like the pressure of being at that elevation, my head like pounds. So I'm just trying to find the right way to mitigate that. Maybe I don't know if I need to just go for the Dramamine or try to take the peppermint on my forehead, or ginger lozenges or something. But it's so overwhelming for the body, and I just need a better way to go about it because I'm traveling more now, so I really need a better option.
Have you experimented with anything that seemed to have like a good effect?
The only thing is mindful breathing. That's all I've done so far, and it's not getting me very far.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
might.
want to have to take the medicines. I like to avoid them.
Yeah, you might want to look at the Sota biotuner. I don't travel without that. It's like a couple $100, and it's these ear clips that clip to your earlobes, and it's just a tiny device you can hold in your hand, and it's it's like
Oh,
electrical brain stimulation, but very gentle. And I've used it for so many things: being underslept, insomnia if I can't fall asleep, uh, just feeling stressed or overwhelmed or whatever. And it's just like 20 minutes, and it just feels like a little tingling, almost like a tickling sensation on your earlobes. And yeah, it's a cool. I think that's where some
what's it
devices
called?
come in. The Sota biotuner. Yeah, they're up
Oh,
in
I'll have to write that down. Okay.
they're up in Canada. Yeah, I don't travel
Okay.
without it. Just a nice little
Oh,
use. So might calm down your brain.
I think I need it. It just stinks to have such a bad headache when you're stuck on a plane, and there's no way to help that, and you just feel like crap.
Yeah, I know some people would say it's probably the EMFs, but it could be a million things.
Probably. Probably. I mean, there's just so much going on, and everyone's so close together in that compact plane that it's definitely an overload of EMFs. Yeah.
Early last year,
Cringe.
right? I don't know if you've seen the EMF blocking clothing, but this guy has a company, No Choice, and I think I was fed up and just kind of fed up with the whole mask mandate thing. And so I went to the airport in like a superhero outfit. Like I literally had the cape with the hood over my head.
Oh my God.
And my face was fully covered. So it's just my whole face was silver. They couldn't see any of my face. And I had a hood it was like a purple cape. And yeah, I've done some fun experiments at the airport, and it was full EMF blocking.
And you got through TSA?
Yeah.
Did you got through no problem? Wow. Well, you probably had a nice plane ride.
Yeah. Yeah. His hoodie actually zips up all the way to the front, but there was it's funny, it actually creates like a spike. And so my post got taken down from social media because they said it was like KKK, like it looked like that.
Oh my God. Oh dear. Oh my goodness. Well,
so that whole thing is
extreme.
I have to find a better way. Yeah. But yeah, you might want to look into like EMF blocking, like baklava you can buy, or a fully zip up the hood that might help too. But just ideas.
I've seen that the EMF blocking clothing. That's definitely. I would like at least one outfit would probably do me justice for travels.
Let's see. Do you want to jump into some Q&A questions here?
Yeah, sure. Let's hear what the people have to say.
Best way to tackle cellulite. There's so many different ideas on this, like watching your calories.
Gua sha. I don't know about watching your calories. I think gua sha, foam rolling, and dry brushing are great tools that I use every day on my body. I think that they could definitely break through the fascia. But I think the way that you eat definitely plays a role into your cellulite as well. Just like a tight like blockage of skin layers. So if you could fix that.
Yeah, Adam Bergstrom says it's just gas. It's really interesting. He's like, it's not even solid. You could like literally, you could like deflate yourself.
Yeah, I'm sure. Just breaking it up.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure
a massage could even help.
Yeah.
Can you think of a massage helping with cellulite?
Yeah, absolutely. I like that you said gua sha too. I fell off the wagon with practicing that, but I was pretty consistent. And I've had some wild experiences, especially in my neck area, just like nasty, thick material coming out of my pores around my lymph nodes. Have you been using that for a while?
Probably since 2020, I really started using my gua sha. I'm consistent with it every night. I love to do it. It's like a nice face massage, my neck. And really for my legs, I use the foam roller more than the gua sha. But if I had really bad cellulite, I would use the gua sha on my legs. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's where the most common area is for cellulite.
Yeah, and lowering cortisol probably too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that also helped with stubborn stomach fat, the cortisol. Managing all of that, just managing stress in general from life, and that helps with your hormone health.
Yeah, absolutely.
And acne.
Yeah, I just took like a week off coffee, and that felt so good because I hadn't done that in like months or years. And doing that in combination with the adrenal cocktail, my body is like brand new. It's pretty cool.
You really think so? Wow.
Or it could be the cod liver
oil. And are you going to go back to coffee?
Oh, yeah.
What about
coffee? Right?
Are you going to go back to coffee? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
coffee is one thing I can step away from, but I really don't want to because I just love it so much.
Yeah, I think the key is not overdoing it. Like, I never got to the point of drinking like 5-6 plus cups a day. Because I know there are people like that where just every few hours they're going to Starbucks or whatever. And that's when you know you have mineral imbalance, their problems.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely don't have that issue either. I have the self-control with that. So like 2 cups a day once in a while, usually just 1 cup a day for me.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. What are your go-to easy daily meals?
Hmm A really easy one is sourdough with eggs, avocado, or sometimes adding some ricotta on it. That's probably my go-to. And I know this sounds really gross, but I love dates and butter with salt. I've been obsessed with that. That's probably like a typical keto snack, but it tastes so good. It's like caramel. And I love that as like a little snack. I love the carrot salad with coconut oil and vinegar and salt. That's been really nice as well. And it's so easy to make. I usually just grate a bunch of carrots at the beginning of the week just so I don't have to do that because that's the annoying part. Or I think like turkey slices on sourdough again, like that. If I'm not really getting into the kitchen to cook, if I just put anything on toast that's healthier to get protein, fat, and carbs in there, and a fruit bowl or a smoothie as well.
Mm, that's awesome. How do you find motivation to work out? Someone asks.
I think it's because it's a mental thing for me. Like I mentally feel so much better about myself and I feel more accomplished for the day if I get a workout in. And I like my favorite time to work out is midday. So I think that, I don't make the effort to get up at like 6 a.m. and work out, but I like to squeeze it in during the day. So I enjoy it. I enjoy working out at this point, as well as the fact that it makes me feel good. And I do a form of exercise that works for me, that doesn't make me feel like it's a chore. So that's really how I am right now with working out. But I have gone through phases where I'm not in the mood, or my body's not ready for it, or I feel like I'm dreading it. So working out is just about committing to it also. If you want to look a certain way or feel a certain way, you have to put in that 45 minutes a day, or 30 to 45 minutes a day. That's the commitment.
Mm, that's great. Yeah. I'm really fortunate to be out here alone because I'm forced to move. I don't have a choice, so
Yeah,
that's my
you're
daily
always
movement.
probably moving around.
Hmm. Um, yeah, the 24-hour fitness thing. I remember growing up seeing that, and even before I was into health, looking at people. When I'm going into a Vons at like 10 p.m. and they're on the elliptical or whatever, I'm like, that can't be
Just
healthy. That's probably not a good time to be like, that's probably a time you should be winding down, right? And getting ready for bed.
Yeah, I don't like to work out that late in the day either. It's definitely just not you're not setting yourself up for a good night's sleep, circadian rhythm, and you're putting yourself out of whack. You're just going to be energized for hours.
Yeah. This is a good one. The differences, or what are the differences between different types of sugar and their effects on the vitamins and minerals? Have you dove into like the white sugar thing or?
I've read about it, but I really right now my favorite is maple syrup and honey, and those I enjoy in desserts, coffee, honey on toast with ricotta or cottage cheese. It's like it just makes you feel fancy adding that honey into a savory meal. But I think maple syrup's my favorite, and it's just your body's preferred source of energy or simple sugars. And I haven't dove into the white sugar thing, but I've seen that it could be a tool, but I personally don't consume it right now, but I'm open to it. But for me, maple syrup's the best. It works best for my body and the honey.
Yeah, over the years, I've heard people make the argument, like the four white devils. I think they demonize dairy. They put milk in there, but they're like white
Yeah.
salt, white sugar, and white bread. And I'm
Oh
like,
my God.
it's all context, right? It's like if
Yeah.
you have your minerals coming in elsewhere, you don't need to get minerals with every meal. Like your body is not going to freak out.
Yeah. I mean, everyone has the wrong idea about sugar and salt. And it's mind blowing that people actually think like you need to avoid salt if you have certain conditions. Like that's literally going to save you. And it's helped, like increasing my salt intake has completely helped me.
Same here. Yeah, I notice it an immediate, like if I'm forced to fast, just life, whatever, and I take some salt, my
Yeah.
stress just immediately is like, vroom, like I'm taking down multiple
Yeah.
levels in stress.
Hmm. Yeah. It's part of life. We thrive off of it.
Have you seen the recent video by the Clintons' doctor, Dr. Mark Hyman, where he says sugar turns your brain into creme brulee?
I haven't seen that one, but I've seen him shit on sugar all the time. Like he demonizes it. I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about that guy anymore. I unfollowed him a while ago, and there's still people like in this realm of health that still follow him and support him.
Yeah, he made the
Yeah,
analogy.
so
He's like, if you ever been to a kid's party and the kids are eating ice cream and cake and they're bouncing off the walls, it's not a bad scene. Just putting all the blame on sugar. I'm like, kids are that's kids are supposed to do that, right? They're supposed to be running
yeah.
around and
Yeah, I mean, yes, sugar can amp them up, but it's not like it's not a bad thing. He has a whole different perspective, but and a new other agenda, I'm sure.
right.
Being their doctor.
Yeah. Yeah. Hillary has a pretty high body count, I think, at this point.
Oh boy. Yep.
Let's see. How do you eat pro-metabolic without gaining weight? So, yeah, recommended exercises.
I think just finding the right exercise for you, whether it's walking or some moderate weightlifting, and staying consistent with that, like 4 days a week. That's my favorite. And then, eating, I eat mindfully, but I also I eat at certain times of the day. Like I'll start earlier now. I like to start eating by like 8:39, and I try to eat a balanced breakfast that sets the tone for the day, coffee, and I eat like balanced meals. I listen to my body to see am I full or not, because I used to have a really tough relationship with that, like finishing my plate because no food should be wasted versus oh, am I actually hungry or am I full? So I really come to understand like my hunger cues. So I think understanding your hunger cues, and you could still eat cheese and proteins of choice, just really balancing it out. And not, to be honest, like I know people look down upon this, but like eating dinner earlier rather than later, I know people say it doesn't matter, but I feel that it really does matter. Like if you're going to eat dinner at like 9 o'clock at night, I really do think you're doing your body a disservice. And people think that that's not true, but I do. I think your digestive system, the earlier you eat, I really do think the better it is for the next day.
Have you experimented with that, like in the past, like eating dinner late and then eating earlier,
Yeah.
feeling the difference?
Yeah, oh yeah, I definitely have, because when I'm with my boyfriend, he gets home later from work and we eat dinner later. But when I'm home, I eat dinner so much earlier, and I just definitely feel better eating earlier in the evening and then just stopping by 8 p.m. But there are nights where I'm like eating my dessert at 10 o'clock at night, and I'm just like, gotta live life. But I definitely feel better, and I don't look bloated in the morning if I stop earlier. I do, like, people think that they're like, carbs at night doesn't make you fat, but like, you might have some digestive issues at night from eating late.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah,
I've
it's a good
experienced
point.
it.
What's your typical
What do
dessert?
you
Like,
think?
is it I think it's something that you should experiment with for sure. And yeah,
Yeah.
eating dinner right before bed probably isn't a good idea. I mean, after I eat, like I know if I lay down, you know, I feel the difference in my digestive process
Yeah,
versus
of course.
being vertical. Yeah, I think it's
But
definitely an
yeah,
individual
dessert.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I was going to
yeah.
ask if you
But
do
for
ice
dessert,
cream or.
yeah. So right now, Haagen-Dazs is my favorite ice cream. But, you know, I have the self-control to not eat a whole pint. I stop after a few bites. But I really, right now for my baking, I make like double chocolate chip cookies or chocolate chip cookies. And I love cookies. I like to make my own muffins or cupcakes. So I learned to like have like one cupcake. I don't have three. Then I'm going to feel like crap. Like I found the fine line between enjoying dessert and having it every day versus binging on it. So that really also changes the game for me with just enjoying sweets. And I make again, I'm making them all myself. I'm not buying any of them at the store. I make everything, and I don't consume almond flour as much anymore too, and which I used to always bake with it. Right now I do organic wheat or gluten-free one, and I add coconut flour. So I'm just experimenting with other desserts because I use them as snacks sometimes too during the day. I don't just limit them to dessert. So it's another option for food for me sometimes during the day.
That's great. Yeah, it's a good point about
Yeah.
moderation and whether it's, recreational stuff, alcohol, tobacco, cannabis. I
Yeah.
think the overuse is usually where the problem is, and people just don't know where to
Yeah.
stop with things. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely had my times where I loved to like eat like lots, like bunches of slices of cake, but I found a fine line now where I'm like, okay, I'm good. I could stop. And I know people feel different ways about moderation, but I love dessert and I'm not going to stop eating it. And I still feel good, look good. And I found that I could still eat it and eat it like almost every day if I need to because I make it myself. So I know exactly what I'm putting in it. No funky oils, using butter or coconut oil and using the right flours, using sugar. So it's all good.
Yeah. Yeah. Because all the stuff you buy in the store, it's probably going to have canola oil, maybe fortified with iron. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
they even throw like
Yep.
ascorbic acid in there as a preservative.
Yeah. Soy lecithin.
Mm.
They love that one. That's in a lot of chocolates too.
I've noticed that. Yeah. And even gummies, like
Hmm.
even the healthier gummies give me a stomach ache. Like, because when I
I
started eating
know.
gummies,
I
I would buy
know.
the organic ones. And if I eat a whole bag, I'm like, oh, it's like a brick versus like homemade.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you know, what's that really trendy brand that's healthier? Smart Snacks or something?
That's the one I used to
They
do.
almost like
Yeah.
took a tooth out of my mouth.
Right.
They were not chewy at all. They were hard as a rock. It was sticky, too sticky.
Mhm. Right. Yeah. Some things
Not
I
a
think
fan. Not a fan.
I think some things you have to make at home. Like, yeah, I'm working on coming out with a gummy for Mitolife, but it's
Oh
tricky to make something
wow.
that's like shelf stable for a while, you know.
Yeah. Some gelatin could do good in there. I don't know. Yeah, that is tough, but I'll be buying that.
do you do you make homemade gummies for the gelatin?
I have before. Yeah, I'm not consistent with it, but I did a few times and I really like it. They're
Mm-hmm.
fun to chew on.
Yeah, I started
And
making the little.
I know I'm doing my
Sorry, go ahead.
you go, sorry. I was just gonna say I like treating myself to little gummies and stuff like that because it's fun and you know that you're doing your gut some good service.
Yeah, I feel like it balances out my meals too. Like if I just take it with my normal meal 3 times a day, I definitely feel the difference um, with it. So
Yeah, that's awesome. I haven't taken them
mm,
enough to say that, but
mm,
I love having gelatin in the house just to use for anything like that.
how do you treat an overgrowth of fungus in the body? Your take on an antifungal diet, or your thoughts on candida?
Mm. So I haven't dealt with that personally, but I know some girl that I follow, a little sipper, has a lot to say about that, and candida and IBS and all that. So I can't really speak to that, to be honest.
Mm. Yeah, Adam says a Haagen-Dazs fast cured a lady that he knows. She went on like I think it was like a 3-week Haagen-Dazs fast.
What?
Yeah.
What? She ate ice cream?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh
Yeah,
my, I want to try that.
because the idea is that candida becomes aggressive when it doesn't have sugar to eat, and so it'll spread throughout your body aggressively if you don't eat. It doesn't have to be sugar or carbohydrates, which is funny because that's the exact
Oh,
opposite of what they say. They say, oh, you need to starve it of
yeah.
carbs. Don't do any carbs, no sugar.
That's what I thought.
Mhm.
Oh, wow. I know, the vanilla and the strawberry are my favorite by Haagen-Dazs. Oh, they're so good.
Yeah, I'm still on the double rainbow. I think it has like 2 gums in it, but it feels like it digests well.
Oh, no. No, I don't. The vanilla and strawberry have no gums in it. I really just want to get
Oh.
an ice cream maker one day. That would
Mhm.
be amazing.
Yeah, it's a little bit of work. I tried it a few times and failed.
Really?
uh, I think the key is you have to freeze. You have to freeze the container overnight. I think is the trick. Like there's some prep
Okay.
work. You can't just jump in and make it. You need to
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
And then you have to blend
Yeah.
the ingredients before you put it in the ice cream maker. Those were the mistakes that I made. I didn't blend
Yeah.
it. I didn't freeze the
Yeah.
container.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I heard you say that on a podcast one time, so I remember that actually.
Let me see. Which supplements do you recommend women in their 40s to take? Same ones.
I think the same ones I'm taking right now, especially from generations that are older than me, getting just your minerals in balance and taking vitamins that you're lacking from your food, like for shilajit, grass-fed beef liver, and magnesium bicarbonate. You're really just creating a foundation of a balanced diet, like right there. Like that's the foundation, and then you obviously have to have good quality food with that. But I think those three are the best. And seeing my mom, who is in her later 50s, like her transformation, taking all of these as well, that's a perfect example right there that they are working, and she takes the exact same supplements I take. So yeah.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Why does she believe pea protein is good for our bodies? I used to live off of it.
Hmm. Oh, well, I do have a few posts, including the pea protein I use once in a while in smoothies, New Zest. I know that it's technically a PUFA. I mean, I still think that it helps with some gut issues for me. I don't consume it every day, but because that's one of the only brands that has no funky ingredients whatsoever, it's literally like 3 ingredients. I have no problem consuming it, in addition to like bone broth, collagen, or gelatin. Like I have a balance, and those 3 work for me. Maybe someone else will have an issue with pea protein, but I never actually got into whey protein because I was brainwashed by the vegan industry with pea protein, so I never even bothered getting into it. But I made it out okay with pea protein, the vanilla one by New Zest. I don't know if you're even familiar with that brand, but that's the brand I have been consuming.
That's great. Yeah, I used to go to like natural health conferences, and I would try shots of, I was back in my sampling days. I'd try every sample from every booth, and I never found like a good,
Yeah.
Protein smoothie that felt good. I always just felt bloated. But I think it's another experimental thing where you have to try different ones and probably just stay away from soy
Yeah.
protein isolate, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the one that I buy, I mentioned her earlier, Lil Sipper is her Instagram handle. She created her own with that company, and she designed it specifically for people with IBS issues. So it's designed to help you in your gut issues. So it's more friendly for your digestive system. That's the only reason I bought that one, and I still have a bottle in the house, but I don't consume it every day. I just have it as an option.
Hmm. We had a few questions on tahini. Why does she eat it?
Mhm.
About the PUFAs.
Who's creeping on my page that far? I haven't posted tahini in a while, have I? Actually, I have. I have actually. Well, all right. I could give my answer. So, life's about balance, and the tahini cookies I make are legit. So I make them because you have to live life. And tahini, I don't consume it if it's not in that cookie. So if you have that cookie, you'll understand why.
Yeah, I
But
just
yeah,
remember it
I
from
understand that has a high, yeah, as a high
like,
PUFA content. I understand that, so I don't consume it a lot.
yeah, I think I only eat that when I get like Mediterranean food or something.
Yeah, that too. That too. Yeah, it's usually at Mediterranean restaurants in the hummus or just tahini itself.
Hmm.
That's the problem with some of these communities. Everyone's so like all or nothing.
Yeah, especially with the PUFAs thing. That's something that I've seen in the last few days where like someone asked me with my grain that I give my goats, they're like, isn't that going to increase the PUFAs in the milk? I'm like, you've obviously never worked with animals.
Yeah. People like are like they have these opinions, and it's like you can't be perfect. It's impossible. You have to compromise somewhere, and if the goats have to eat that, it is what it is. Hopefully their digestive system does some magic.
Well, yeah, in ruminants, yeah, they convert unsaturated fats into saturated. So, and PUFAs
Yeah.
aren't even evil. They're in everything. They're in eggs, and they're impossible
Yeah.
to avoid. So, I've been kind of meditating on it the last week or so. Like, I think PUFAs, their biggest benefit is they're like antifreeze. Like that's actually I found an article. Um, that's how deer use it. They actually consume moss.
Yeah.
It's
Oh.
lichen. Yeah, let me see. Here I found it. Yeah. Um, yeah, reindeer, geese. Yeah, the moss has a lot of arachidonic acid, which is natural antifreeze, so it prevents them from getting super cold.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, it's how
How
animals
are the
use it.
deer near you?
Yeah.
How do they look near you? Because the deers around here are very unhealthy looking. Are they more? Are they a little thicker?
Oh yeah, they're robust. Yeah, they have a lot of food around here to eat, and I'm always
Really?
chucking out old, oranges and stuff. So
Oh, wow. Because the deers around this area are very skinny. They're so unhealthy looking. These poor deer. And then when you're in busier areas, you see them on the side of the street ran over. It's really sad.
wow, if you ever want to do an experiment, buy a salt block. I think they're like $10 or so, like a big white salt block, and put that out um,
Oh,
away from the highways or whatever. And that's what I put out on the lake, and it attracts the elk, the deer, the
oh.
moose, and they lick the salt, and that's
Oh
like
my God.
yeah, it's super supportive for wild animals. So you
Wow. That's amazing. Oh my God, you get the whole forest. The elk
know.
and the moose. That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. In the summer, the moose actually swim in my lake. They'll jump in because they use it to cool down, and they're
Oh
really
my
good swimmers.
God.
Crazy.
Wow. That's so cute. I honestly, that is so adorable. The moose. Oh, and the elk.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. It's nice to
Are
see
you
wild
scared
animals.
of them? Like, is it like a scary thing?
Yeah, they're huge. The bull that comes around, the male is giant. I don't know how many pounds. I mean, the one that was here last year, he seemed like he was a good 700-800 pounds, maybe half the size of my truck. And yeah, they only get aggressive during rutting season. Same with deer. Like I watch animal attacks videos, and a lot of them are when it's like mating season, and the males are competing for the females. That's when you really have to watch
Mm-hmm.
out. And then with bears, it's like
Wow.
when they're coming out of hibernation and they're hungry, you know.
Soon enough, right? Soon enough for you. You'll see that happening.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I keep a gun next to me pretty much all the time, because my beehive's off my deck. And so if a bear comes, I could just pop. I mean, I wouldn't kill him. I have non-lethal rounds, my shotgun. So I just give him a little love tap. That's the plan.
Wow.
That happens.
Oh man, well you have to have a plan in case, because you're in the wild, kind of.
Yep. Do you think you'll ever get into keeping like chickens or bees or goats or animals? You ever
I
want
would
to do
like that. I would like that. It sounds nice, but it also sounds like a lot of upkeep. And you really have to be in an area where you have that kind of property or land. But having my own chickens would be amazing, to have my nice fresh eggs every day. Or I don't know, how often do you get fresh eggs? Do you have chickens, right?
Usually every day. Yeah. I started with 10 and most of them got eaten. And
Oh my God.
so I'm down to 3 hens.
That's terrible. Oh man.
By wild animals,
Who
there's
ate
one
them?
time.
Like,
Oh, I think there's coyotes here. There's wolves. There's pretty much everything. And so even raccoons could pick them off.
yeah.
And
Wow.
one morning I woke up to my rooster. He had half of his feathers plucked out. And I think what had happened is something
Oh.
had tried to drag him into the woods to eat him, and he broke free somehow. But he fully recovered and like grew back all his.
That's unbelievable. Oh man. You need the rooster. He's necessary for that whole ecosystem. Wow.
Yeah. I recommend chickens, even if you have a small backyard. I've kept chickens before when I rented, even, and you can kind of get in trouble with the landlord if they're not aware or they're not in support of it. But I mean, if you only have hens, which is what I've done in the past, they're quiet and no one really knows. And just keep them in a little coop in your backyard, and it's fine. So
let them graze. Hopefully they get to graze a little too.
Yeah, in the winter you have to do or it's ideal to do dehydrated bugs. So I've been feeding them like grubs because they haven't had insects in 5 months or so. Just grain fed chickens.
Wow.
Let's see.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on constipation? Like when someone has constipation, what are your go-tos?
So just drinking enough water is the trick, or you need to uptake your magnesium, or make sure you're taking the right magnesium. Those are the best tips. Like if you have if you're in good health, water should be able to help you go to the bathroom. But I mean, from my experience, yeah, I think, and then magnesium, if you're struggling, magnesium's the best way to fix that.
Yeah, I agree. Have you done the floating yet? Sensory deprivation floating and the magnesium?
I actually did try floating. I don't really like it because I'm just not meant for that, because my mind can't stop. But I have tried it. There's a wellness spa in New Jersey that I tried. It's really great. It's called Mindful Waters, and she has like the cryo and the sauna and the float tank, it's nice. I liked it, but I didn't try. Wait, you said they have the magnesium like powder in the pool or something. Yeah, so it burns if you have cuts. But I've tried that. Definitely relaxing for some people.
Yeah. I had my friend Mandy on to talk about the nervous system, and she was saying like that could be stressful for someone's nervous system that's in a certain state. And so you might need like music or even light, but just I think music alone in that chamber could help a lot of people, just to give one input of stimulation to soothe the nervous system.
Yeah, definitely. It depends on who you are as a person, if you're going to enjoy it or not. Like if you're a very frantic person, it's going to be more challenging to relax. in that state, but it's a thing for a reason. It benefits people and keeps you calm and kind of like you could get out of your head a little.
Did you use the cryo chamber at that spa?
No, no, I'm not ready for that. I'd rather sweat for an hour in the sauna than go in the cryo.
It's the
I'm
stand up
scared.
one, right? With like
But I
the
will.
gas.
Yeah, yeah. I
Mm.
haven't tried it. Have
Yeah,
you tried it? Do you like it?
I would like to try it. Yeah, I think you only go in there for like 90 seconds or 2 minutes, but I just kind of laugh because we're about to enter a cold spell here the next couple days. We're almost to summer, but it keeps dipping and going back up. And I'm just like, I could just walk
Yeah,
outside naked and get the same benefit of, of going in one of those.
I'm sure over there you can for
Just jump in my.
free.
What's that?
I said for free too, because those wellness spas are more expensive.
Oh yeah, yeah. Did you ever almost get into like the ice baths, Wim Hof stuff?
No, no, luckily no, I didn't. I hate being cold, so I wasn't open to those modalities of health. But I don't know. I hear a lot of controversy about getting really your body really cold anyway. Is it all that good? I'm sure for certain ailments it can help.
Yeah. Well, my Russian friend Leo, because he grew up with the sauna thing, and they do hot cold therapy, and everything's such a fad now with all this biohacking stuff, and he was saying it should just be in
Yeah.
and out. You know, like I used to sit in my stock tank with my hands out and meditating for 15 minutes, and that's totally
Yeah.
unnatural. It's just a test of willpower at that point. I think that's the biggest benefit. I think people are
Yeah.
just trying to see how machismo they could be. you know?
Yeah, ego, your ego. If you could feel cooler, if you stay in longer, like male, but male dominance or something like that.
um, let's see. How can girls improve their menstrual cycle?
I think it depends on where you are. Are you on a pill? Do you have irregular periods? You have to really like what's your diet like? And think just those basic things about your life. If you have an irregular period, and that's something to think about. Like, are you eating enough? What's your life like work balance, social family dynamics, anything could literally affect your period if you're exercising too much. Like, there's so many factors. I haven't had any issues with that, luckily, but it's something. I know people who don't get their periods for like 2 months at a time. Like, it's some women have really irregular ones. I'm not a fertility expert, but I can say that it starts with nutrition and like a mineral imbalance for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. I think a lot of the time it could just be they're not eating enough carbs or protein, and
Yeah.
start
Yeah,
there,
that
right?
too. Yeah, I definitely need to be eating enough in general just to protect and support your hormone health.
hmm Um, Kind of going back to what we talked about with eating before bed. I think this is one of the last questions here. Reasons for waking up
Yeah.
with a headache, even if I have a balanced snack before bed.
I would say it's you're grinding at night. Like, I have TMJ issues, and I sometimes my jaw hurts to open to a certain angle when I open it in the morning. Like, my jaw gets so bad, so it's definitely probably not something you're eating, or you could just be dehydrated, or you're literally just like grinding at night.
Hmm.
You're stressed out in your dreams. That's a thing.
Wow. Have you experimented with like the nasal dilators or the mouth tape?
No, but I've always been a nose breather. So I
Hmm.
don't think I mouth breathe, and I've always been a nose breather since I was a baby. So I'm good. At least I think.
Your boyfriend's never complained that you snore?
No, 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 no.
Uh,
No, he doesn't snore either. So we're quiet sleepers, and I never had a snoring problem. I always kept my mouth shut at night, so that I was already at an advantage. And it's funny, like you always thought, oh, you're supposed to breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, and now I hear like, oh, don't breathe through your mouth at all. It's like, dang, thank God I was on the right path without knowing it.
Yeah, I think for like intense workouts, I like what Josh has to say for that. It's like makes the analogy of like switching gears on your car. Like sometimes you might need to
Yeah,
kick it into fourth gear and mouth breathe, but it just shouldn't
yeah.
be chronically.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Like if you have to, if it's really strenuous, I get it, but the majority don't.
Hmm. Um, well, that was awesome. Anything else you wanted to chat about? I think we covered it
Well,
all.
I am, yeah, I do. I do. I just want to mention that I'm writing an online course on metabolic health, and that it's coming out in the next month or two. So for everyone to be on the lookout for that, just about
Right on.
helping support your metabolism and all of that.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that'll be super useful for people
Hmm.
because that's a huge point of confusion, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Just to like give a nice blueprint of like where to start and meal ideas and really like what does it really mean to support your metabolism for health, your overall health.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing that we even have to talk about this now. I mean, because
Yeah.
because of all these crazy diets, right? Like keto, intermittent fasting, like people have just gone through the gauntlet of all of these diets, and I've noticed uh, people just can't drop the diet term. They're like, "Oh, pro-metabolic
No.
diet or the repeat diet," and it's like they must use that word
Yeah.
diet. It's like just ingrained.
Yeah. I know. And it's not about a diet. It's just about like just an approach to helping assist you in your needs. And that's really the goal. So I know we've been so brainwashed into dieting as a society. Like people think that that's just the only way out. But it's
Right.
not.
Well, that's great. Well, Ava, thanks so much. This was fun, and I think yeah, people will learn a lot just from hearing your journey and what you did to rebalance. Your Instagram is avocado aficionados, so stay tuned to that page for the release of that.
Thanks.
Love
Thank you,
to-
Matt.
Yeah,
It's been great chatting with you.
yeah, it's been fun. Stick around as we close out the show. Thanks, Ava.
Sure.
That's a wrap for today's show. I hope you guys got some practical information out of that and inspiration. Ava has great recipes on her Instagram, whether you're baking or cooking up some butternut squash or chicken or making pancakes. Really easy, healthy recipes. So if you've been confused about what you can eat, head over to her Instagram and I'll put the links to everything below her website. There's a button you can click work with me and send her an email if you want to work with her one-on-one to get the foundation down and clear the confusion around food and nutrition. My website is matt-blackburn.com. I have recipes up there for gummies and pancakes. I have blog posts. That's where you can read my CLF protocol, which is overdue for an update with my new information on vitamin A/retinol and its effect on protecting from lipid peroxidation. So I'll update that and do a CLF version 2.0 very soon. I'm actually working on an ebook in detail about calcification, lipofuscin, and fibrosis, and that should be ready really soon. So that's exciting. And if you click on shop on my store, you can see all of my recommended products. And I have a good variety there of different things, both affordable and investments. But I think it's all an investment, and you'll never regret spending money on your health. All the stuff I have has taken me a decade to accumulate over the years. And a lot of things I bought used at first. My first rebounder, trampoline, I bought used on Craigslist. My first sauna, same thing. And so it's just a matter of prioritizing and maybe going out to eat less or going to the movies less or canceling subscriptions that you don't need to prioritize your health. And I think devices and supplements can be a really powerful way to fast track recovery, because we've all been, as I call it, poisoned by this system. They fortified our grains with iron filings, while at the same time lowering the RDA for copper, which balances out iron overload and allows copper to be loaded into ceruloplasmin, which is like bioactive copper, while at the same time they took away our retinol sources like butter and milk for dairy-free options and nut milks and margarine, fake butters. So it was a perfect storm that was created, I believe, by design. And if you don't have copper in its active form, you can't make energy. You can't utilize the oxygen that you're breathing to turn it into water and to make ATP. So the first step is not starving yourself, not drinking coffee on an empty stomach without carbohydrates in your system, not skipping meals, not restricting animal protein or saturated fats. And then you could start to deeply heal with these ideas of excess iron being stored in the tissues, ceruloplasmin deficiency, and then you start looking into vitamin E deficiency, vitamin K2 deficiency, retinol, and now you're really accelerating the healing journey. So I've been having a lot of fun. It's constant research and connecting dots, and no one has the whole picture. If they say they do, they're lying. We're all discovering this together, and there's always new dots to connect and important ones that actually powerfully affect people's lives and the way they interact with others in relationships, and how creative they can be and how productive they can be. All of that is dependent upon our health, our physical health. It's really important. And there are weakest link steps that you have to go through. So if you're under eating calories, eat more calories. If you're under eating carbs, eat more carbs, and on until you get to the level where you can start to really balance your fat soluble vitamins, treat the severe vitamin D toxicity that they created and the resulting magnesium deficiency, because both vitamin D supplements and iron overload both deplete magnesium. And so many things do. It goes on and on with the connections between vitamins, minerals, and enzymes. You could spend your whole life looking into those connections. My brand is called Mitolife. You can find that at mitolife.co. We're working hard to bring back the desiccated oyster, and we have a freeze-dried beef liver product coming out that I'm really excited about that's different from all of the others. There's nothing like it. And the mixed cofferol vitamin E will be back soon, so keep an eye on that. But thank you so much for your support. There's a new episode released every Friday. I am Matt Blackburn on Instagram, and my YouTube channel is Matt Blackburn, and that's where I have the Mitolife Academy. And so you can pay $10, $15, or $25 a month to get access to private videos where I dive deeper into these topics. And there's also a live private Q&A once a month. So thanks for listening. See you guys next week, and stay supercharged.